It don't take where I create content on web development. Cybersecurity don't take almost 95% of my time, so I don't really forget about web development. Well, in the last video, I gave you people an assignment to create a simple front-end website like this, something like this. So congratulations to those of you that have tried to create it. You are now a web developer. If you can create something as poor as like this is not poor, but because of the interface is poor, you can continue upgrading yourself. So if you can create something like this and you are able to create something like this, then congratulations to you. You are now a web developer. So today we'll be talking about the CSS grid. But before we talk about CSS grid, if you are coming across this video, I beg you for one thing, just support me by sharing this video and giving it a thumbs up for more updates. So let's go straight to business. So here we are in our Visual Studio Code, and this is the last project we created. So if you look at it very well, or if you were in the class, you will discover that we use CSS nested element, but basically block element and inline block element to build this nested element. To arrange this website in this format, we use block element and inline block element. However, there is a very better way to arrange or organize things on the website, which is the CSS grid. So what is the difference between CSS grid and other nested element like the block element and inline block element? One of the difference between the grid and other CSS nested element is that CSS grid is where it has a very better way of arranging and organizing things on a website, unlike other websites. For example, let me go to this website and add some background pictures or background colors on those images or on those grids or on these containers, I mean to say, so that we know what is going on in the background. So if we navigate to these channels info container, just come from here and add another code, and we're going to add background color, and we put a background color of gray so that we will see what is going on in the code. So let's hit Ctrl S to save. If you come back, you discover that a background color has been added to this container. So I just want to show you one thing I am talking about. Again, let's come to this channel or profile info, and we also add a background color here. So let's add a background color of gray to see what is going on here, and hit Ctrl S to save. So if you can go back, you will discover that this container and this container has a space here or a margin here, and this is one of the problems we will be facing. So why not get rid of this margin? The problem here is that we have set the overall container, the width of this overall container, to 430, and if you take 430 minus the number of these grids or this container, which is 360, 430 minus 360, we should have something like 70. We should have something like 70, but here the width is 60. Instead of 70, we only have 60 here. So if we try to raise this 60 to 70 to balance it so that everything will be well occupied, let's cancel this 60 and add 70 here. If you add 70 and save and go back to our code, you discover that everything is now scattered. This arrangement has scattered. This thing is no more standing beside this. It's giving a space here. Why? This is because divs and paragraphs originally combines empty space here and make it to a single line. So if you come here, this is a div here, and this is another div here. There is a space here, and if you have decided to cancel this and make everything here to be on the same line with this div, yes, we will solve that problem. However, another problem will come out because this code will be very hard to read. So in this case, the better way to arrange elements on a website is CSS grid. So let's go ahead and create another file to practice with. So if we come here, we are going to click here to create another file, and we are going to call this file cssgrid.html. So we create a file cssgrid.html and hit enter. Now let's go ahead and start writing our code in this. So the first thing we are going to do is to lay down our HTML structure, and the first thing we are going to do is to go ahead and write our document type. But for me, I am lazy that I don't want to go through all that, so I'm going to hit shift and exclamation mark on my keyboard to choose the HTML structure myself, so I can save my steps from that trace. So let me rewrite this thing, and here I'm going to write CSS grid. Hit Control Save, and inside this, our body, let's try to create another div here, and we write div, and inside this div, we are going to create two other divs inside that div. So another div, and inside the first div, we are going to write div 1. We come down and write div 2 here. Hit Control S to save. Let's go back to our website, and from here we write quick open with right server. So these are our two grids on our website, but they are not way arranged. So let's go back and add some colors to it. Somewhere inside the first div, we are going to create a space, and we put another HTML attribute there, and we are going to put a style element there. Inside the style element, let's first of all put background picture, or background color, I mean to say. So we say background color, and we'll give it a color of blue, so that to see what is going on really there. We'll come to the second one again, and we'll add the same style. We add a background color of green. So now if you go to our website, some things are now beginning to have a face. So before we continue, I just want to call your attention on one more thing. This is another way of writing CSS on the website. We call this one inline styling. This is because everything is well organized inside this code. So this style belongs to this code, and this style also belongs to this code. Unlike the traditional way which I teach you on how to write CSS, of arranging them on the top inside style element inside a folder. Typically, we have three ways of arranging or writing CSS inside our style. So I have taught you two now. It's remaining one, and I'm going to teach you as we go forward. So here on this code, we are going to add another attribute called the display, and inside this display, we are going to put grid. We'll do the second thing here, the same thing here, and we also make this one equals to grid and save. So if we make it like this, everything now it is more easier to arrange or to organize. But first of all, let me remove this and come back later. Remove this one too. So we make the overall container a grid. So now everything is easier to control. So if you go back to our website or in our Visual Studio Code, and we increase the last column to something less than 300 pixels and save. If you go back, you will discover that another column is bigger or longer than another one. So basically, this is more easier to manage or to maintain than when we were using inline grid. So if you go back to our code again, instead of writing 300 pixels, again, there is a best way of doing this. And instead of 300 pixels, we just write 1FR. 1FR is an evaluation. It means take the remaining space on the website or on the line. This is telling the code editor that the first column here should take just 100 pixels, while the second column should take the remaining column. Irrespective of what is remaining there, you should take the remaining one from A to Z. And if you have decided to add another column, another div here, and make this one a div of 3. Finally, let's change the background color of this. And we are going to style it and give it a background color of red. Hit Ctrl S to save and go back. Once you go back there, everything has started following itself. However, you will discover that the last one is now unwrapping here. This is because the first one that is in blue has taken just 100 pixels, while the one that it is in green, we have told it to take 1FR. 1FR, which means take the remaining space. So there is no remaining space on this line for this one of red. So if we want to arrange it to be on the same line with them, we will still have to come here and add 1FR again and save. If you go back, then all of them will be on the same line. It's telling the code editor that give 100 pixels to this, and then the remaining pixels should be shared in between this green one and this red one. We can go ahead and change this. We can come from here. Instead of writing 1FR, we can clean it and put 2FR. That is to say, this one should take space more than this one. Hit Ctrl S to save and go back. Now you will discover that the red one is carrying more space or occupying more space than the green one, while this one that has blue is static because we have given it a specific space or pixels to occupy. So in our next video, We are going to use this CSS grid to then change the interface of the website we have built. But first of all, before we go, please, I beg you for one thing, share this video and give it a thumbs up for more updates. Finally, let's go out back and change this weight for what it was there before. We remove 70 and put 60 so that it will come back to normal. Now if you save, we discover that everything has come back to normal. And the last thing we will do is to remove the background colors. Remove background colors here again. Save. And now our website has come to normal. If you have watched this video to this point, don't forget to share and like. See you in my next video.